In March of 2025, Mallory and I sailed an 8-night Eastern Caribbean itinerary on Royal Caribbean's Oasis of the Seas. Just us girls. With Liam being in university and having a different spring break than Mallory, we decided to divide and conquer, and he and Chad took a trip of their own. Our cruise had stops in St. Kitts, St. Maarten, and the U.S. Virgin Islands St. Thomas, in addition to Royal's private island, Coco Cay. It was an amazing week of girl time, sunshine, and adventure. Here's a look back.
I'm on my way now. 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 I'm on my way
All right, let's do it. Coming as fast as I can. So that was pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
Given how many people are there?
10 minutes.
10 minutes, and it's a busy terminal already because we're not super early. The boarding process was lightning fast, and we were on the ship in no time. It's always surreal to finally arrive at a place you've spent months researching, planning, and dreaming about. Mal, this is great. Do you recognize this place? Mallory had fond memories of the Windjammer, so that was our first stop after we boarded. After lunch, we headed to our cabin to get settled. To our dismay, only one of our bags had arrived. I took some time to rearrange the furniture. I guess our request for separate beds got lost. We headed out to the boardwalk where we found our muster station and completed the safety check-in. Hello, we are G2.
So just remember, if you hear 7 short blasts and 1 knock, you need to come straight here, yes?
Okay.
Bed number 6 and continue. All right?
Okay, thank you. At that point, Mallory ditched me. She had met a bunch of people her own age online in the months leading up to the cruise, and she would go on to spend most of our time on the ship with a group of friends. That left me alone to continue exploring the ship until it sailed away. As the ship left port, we passed some breathtaking Fort Lauderdale real estate. I also bumped back into Mallory at the sail-away party on deck. We decided to keep it casual for dinner on our first night and met up again in the buffet as the sun was going down. Then Mallory was off. It was Saturday night and everyone was in a festive mood. I did my own thing, catching a show in the theater, checking out the Bionic Bar, and staying up late enough to see her dancing with friends at the welcome party and counting down to the midnight balloon drop.
I'm going to have a good time. I promise. I will behave. 3, 2, 1.
That was enough for me. I headed back to the cabin to get some sleep. The first 2 full days of the cruise were sea days, and you might wonder, what does one do when one is essentially alone on a cruise ship? Well, here's what those days looked like for me. I would start by going up on deck to see what the day looked like. No matter how tired I was, I still loved getting up early and enjoying the ship while it was still relatively empty. It was a great time to use some of the amenities that tended to be clogged with other passengers once the sun was higher in the sky. Once things started getting busier, I would hit the gym or the track. Getting steps in nice weather and with beautiful scenery was amazing. Sometimes to get steps in, instead of using the track, I would go on a cruise duck scavenger hunt around the ship. Early mornings were a great time to find them. Then I would have an awesome breakfast before going back out on deck to stake out a chair. As long as I was out there before noon, I could generally find a good spot, partly of course because I was only looking for a single. I would do some reading and people watching, and every once in a while I might get curious about what Mallory was up to and get up for a walk around to see if I could spot her. Although most of the time I could not. I would also occasionally drop in on the ship's programmed activities like the infamous belly flop competition. Have you even been on a cruise if you haven't attended a belly flop competition? Mostly though, I was happy doing my own thing. After trying the pool deck on the first day, I did find that I preferred the solarium. It wasn't any less busy than the pool deck, but at least it was a little bit more peaceful. I might grab a lunch somewhere, maybe some Mexican, and sometimes would go for a change of scenery and read at the aft of the ship instead. Maybe another walk around, some more duck hunting. I think these bushes in Central Park were a popular hiding place, or a visit to the boardwalk where there was usually something going on. And eventually I would go get cleaned up for dinner because Mallory and I did meet up every night to eat. Sometimes we kept it casual in the Windjammer, but a few nights we dressed up and headed to the main dining room. After dinner, Mallory went out with her friends and I strolled through the shops or caught a few of the shows. Aqua 80 was my favorite. I was also fortunate to find the stowaway piano guy performing in the elevators a few times. He was great.
It's 9 o'clock on an elevator. We're going round the crowd.
Sea days are relaxing, but my favorite days were the port days, partly because I love visiting new places and partly because those were days that Mallory and I spent together. Our first land sighting in 3 days happened in St. Kitts. We disembarked as soon as the ship gave the all ashore.
So when we get back on, we need to get a picture of our ship at some point from like far away, you know what I mean? No, I don't think so either. It is pretty big.
It might seem awfully congested and confusing to have thousands of people trying to disembark from multiple ships at the same time, but it really wasn't that bad once you took the short walk into the port area and the crowd dispersed a bit.
Okay.
We wanted to take a taxi to a scenic lookout on the island, and in the port area we found Tony, a local driver who offered to take us for a flat rate and wait at the top while we looked around.
Yeah.
This place is called Timothy Hill, and it's where you can see the Atlantic Ocean on one side of the island and the Caribbean Sea on the other.
Take a shot. It's beautiful. I like it a lot. Yes, it's beautiful.
You also can't forget to check out the view from the other end of the parking lot, which shows Frigate Bay.
Saw what you came to see? Thumbs up? Okay. How about we go back and find Tony? Tony's waiting for us.
Then we came back into town and set out on a self-guided walking tour of St. Kitts' capital city, Basseterre. We had studied a map beforehand and picked out some interesting sites, many of which reflected the island's history as a British colony. We started out in the Amina Craft Market.
It's like going to see Big Ben in London. That is what I wanted to come find. It is pretty. Phone booth, lead the way. British red phone box. I'm following you.
We saw lots of buildings that have the typical architecture of stone walls on the first floor and brightly painted wooden balconies and gingerbread trim on the upper levels.
It would be a lot nicer if it had water, wouldn't it? It's not very attractive. And I don't just mean like scummy water on one side, I mean like real functioning water. From the outside. No, thank you. All right, and now the next trick is don't get on the wrong ship.
We hopped back on the ship for a quick lunch and to change our clothes, and then in the afternoon we headed out on an excursion, a catamaran sail and snorkel adventure with Leeward Island tours.
Make it?
We originally had a different excursion planned, but it was canceled at the last minute, and we scrambled to find something else to do, with most tour operators already being fully booked for the day. This was actually one of the ship's excursions, and I guess I had low expectations, thinking that it would be crowded and impersonal. And as it turned out, I really enjoyed it. Make no mistake, this was no private tour, but I did think it was good value for the money. The trip included an hour-long sail to Shitten Bay, snacks and drinks included, and we were able to swim or snorkel for a while before making the return trip. St. Kitts is not known for having amazing reef formations, but there was still something to see and it was a fun way to spend the day. The next day we ported in St. Maarten, an island that I have wanted to visit for a long time and part of what made this particular itinerary so appealing to me. It's a little slice of Europe in the Caribbean because half of the island is Dutch and the other side is French. We headed over to the French side to start our day.
What's up today, kiddo?
We're in St. Maarten.
And where are we off to?
We're going parasailing,
Hopefully. We're gonna go to Orient Beach. We're hoping to go parasailing. And then we're gonna go see the planes at Maho before we come back.
You're telling me something that okay. What are you talking about? We come. Orient. Go there.
Thank you.
We took a shared taxi to Orient Beach, which is absolutely gorgeous, probably the prettiest beach we saw on this trip. One end of it is a nude beach, true to its European roots. We found the Bikini Water Sports Clubhouse and we were in luck. The weather was favorable and parasailing was a go. Part of the experience was a surprise jet ski ride from the beach out to the boat. I guess this makes sense since it allows the boat to just circle endlessly around Orient Bay and get more customers up in the sky.
I didn't know that was a good part of it. You okay? Oh my god. All right, Mal, you're doing it. There goes our boat. There's Mal. No, we're not really that high, but it feels high. It looks high. It looks high when you realize that there's like you're sitting on a friggin' strap. And that's it. Just hanging out. Everyone else has hit the water. I think we're gonna hit the water. We're gonna skim it. We're gonna kiss it. They're reeling us in. What would you prefer to do if you had a choice? Land on the boat, not hit the water? Uh-oh, we're hitting the water. Looking like a water landing now.
No, I think we got it.
You think so?
Yeah, I think we got too close to the boat.
We are too close now.
Yeah,
all right.
got it. We got it.
I think we're doing a perfect landing.
Got it.
I'm gonna have a skid mark on my butt though. Hold up. Wow, perfect landing.
How was it, ladies?
That was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right. Now, well, 2 thumbs up. Glad we did it. All right, awesome.
After parasailing, we took another taxi to the Dutch side of the island and went to Maho Beach. This beach is right next to the island's airport, and the primary activity here is plane spotting. We started with lunch at the Sunset Bar and Grill and were able to watch the planes from our table by the water. The biggest planes land in the early afternoon, so our timing was perfect.
No, that wasn't a big one. All right, which one do you think this is going to be?
I hope it's a big one.
The 201 Delta?
It's a big one, Mama. I can tell.
Everybody's hoping it's
This is definitely a big one.
Yeah. It was JetBlue.
but still big.
All right, so what time was the JetBlue supposed to come in?
I don't know.
I feel like all our times are off somehow. Look at them. Look at the wind.
Oh my god!
Look at the towel.
We also saw some planes take off, which results in a huge jet blast to the beach, sending sand, personal effects, and sometimes even people flying.
I don't either. I don't want to either. Don't get blown over. Whoa, look at everybody flying into the water down there.
Into the water.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that, actually, for myself. There goes United. And the jet blast is going to be huge. United, waiting for him to fire up. What was that?
What went flying in that last clip was one of these danger signs that are posted everywhere around the beach.
Maho Beach. Hey. Hey. So here's a look at it. How beautiful it is. And how busy. Super busy.
We had just enough time to stay for the biggest plane of the day, the daily KLM flight from Amsterdam, before it was time to get back to the ship. Our third port day was in St. Thomas in the US Virgin Islands. This was the port day I was looking forward to the least, just by virtue of the fact that St. Thomas, as a US territory, felt less exotic than our other ports. But having friends who love St. Thomas and visit there regularly, I was intrigued to see what it was all about.
$7 per person to get into the beach. That is entrance fee. Can you prepare me $7, please?
We took a shared taxi across the island to Magens Bay, which is a US national park. It has also been called one of the most beautiful beaches in the world, which sounded like it would be worth seeing.
Thank you. I'd like to walk down both ways. Do you want to walk this way first, then I can turn around and come back this way? I'd like to see a little bit of it. Okay, I will follow you. Let's go this way. How's the water? Cold. Cold? Don't tell me it's cold. I want to swim. Whew, it's cold. It's a lot colder than yesterday or the day before, isn't it? Warmer than water was yesterday, but it's still nice.
Yes, the bay and the beach are pretty, but I didn't think that they were memorably so. We've seen lots of other beaches that I would call more beautiful than this. The crowds probably didn't help. We were visiting alongside several other ships in port. After just a few hours, we'd had enough of our beach day and caught a taxi back to the port side of the island.
It's okay, it's not gonna hurt you.
Why? You don't know that. Look at his claws. He might hurt me.
No, look at him. He's just a little iguana.
Oh, there's no other fish. They're all over the rock.
He's a big iguana. The other one's a little one.
There's like another one. They're like all over the rock.
Yeah.
We'd hoped to take the St. Thomas Sky Tram up a nearby peak for a view, but the line was a couple of hours long and we were due back on the ship, plus it started to rain. So we headed back to the ship early. Our last port day and the last day of the cruise itself was on Royal Caribbean's private island, Coco Cay. Now, lots of cruisers will tell you that Coco Cay is the best day of the cruise, and it is a really nice beach day in a manufactured sort of way. Coco Cay is in the Bahamas, but there's nothing local feeling about this experience. You could be on any warm weather island anywhere. But the landscaping is beautiful, there's plenty of room to spread out, the food was really good, the weather was perfect, and it was a very relaxing way to cap off our week. Mallory spent the day with her friends and I spent the day with my book. Once I'd gotten the text from her saying she was safely back on the ship, I packed up my things and made my own way back on board. It was time to pack our bags and check into our flight and start thinking about making the return trip home. So that was how we spent March break 2025, Mallory's final March break as a graduating senior. It was weird to be on a trip with only half of the family, but a great way for the two of us to connect on a more personal level. And it was bittersweet knowing it was likely the last March break trip that I will ever take. When it comes to booking future trips, I won't be tied to the school calendar in quite the same way ever again. I'm glad that we made the most of it while we had the chance.